So years ago, I was pregnant for the third time. I had two boys earlier. We were a happy little family. And I was 40 at that time, so we decided not to have the baby. So we decided to terminate the pregnancy. It was very early on. I think I was like 30 days or so. So I go to a physician, and I did a home test, of course. You know, you do all the prep work, and then go to the physician. And my doctor tells me, Akila, you're pregnant. I'm like, okay, I want this baby a daughter, right? And he's like, no, I can't do it. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do it? I checked out your credential and all that. That's how I even came with you as your patient. They didn't teach you that procedure in med school? He is like, no, you know, there's big politics around that. We don't do it here. There is separate, you need to go to a different office. So he gives me this number, and because I'm an immigrant, you know, it's like I have two personalities inside me. I always compare to, like, you know, what could have been done in India. In India, if I go tell my grandmom that, usually they load you with papaya and pineapple. They're like, you know, they kind of terminate the pregnancy if you're early on, so they'll load you with that. I verified this. Remember, Hawaii has the least amount of population, and pineapples are from there. So it's true. So we don't do it without, there's a method of madness there. So I'm thinking, even that's an organic way of doing an abortion in India. Even if not plan B, you go to a gynec's office and she would do it here, she would do it in her office. Okay, I'm in US, you know, medically best country, and he's not willing to do it. Okay, all right. So he gives me a number, so I call the number. Guess what? They say, Planned Parenthood office. Planned Parenthood. I'm in this situation because I didn't plan this. And bombshell number two, I don't know how many of you have been to the Planned Parenthood office. Wait a minute, don't answer that because I don't have a HIPAA clearance. So then the bombshell number two, my insurance doesn't cover it. I'm thinking, seriously? They're like, no, you need to pay out of pocket. We won't even be billing the insurance and it won't cover it. I'm like, I decided for scientific reasons, after 40, there's a lot of chances that the kid could have some form of deformity, and the insurance wouldn't cover it. But the insurance would pay for if I had the kid, there was something problem with that. This is kind of very counterintuitive. Anyway, I fix an appointment, and then they tell me, so we send the instructions to you in an email. Go through the email and follow the instructions. So I go through the email, and there it is. They have a course of how the baby is formed, the development of baby for 9 months. Let me tell you, I was not the happiest person making this choice, right? I had to make this choice because that is what is good for my family. So I go through that, now I'm becoming even more nervous, right? Like, you know, they show you like at 1 month what the baby's development is. It goes on and on. So I go through that. I'm in software development. I've done a lot of certifications, and you know, when you go through that, there are tricks that you could trick the system, right? They have the same questions, but then they jumble it up. So I go through it first, a mock test, and then I fail, and then I just note down the choices, and then I do that. So I'm trying to do that here. No, this is outsmarting me. They're really asking other set of questions the next time I go through, so I have to study this. So I went through that, so I cleared that. Then once you do that, only then they give you a date to come in. So you would think it's like a very private thing, right? You go there, there's few people. Oh my God, I go there, it's like a mini Secretary of State. There are people there. Various people. I saw sex workers. I saw a lot of teenage kids. I saw people like me in middle age. There were like moms of teenage kids. It's a mini party going on there. And then it's not even like an appointment. You need to go sign in, like just like Secretary of State. So there's a number that you pick, and then they call you. Fine. But what is interesting is, it takes two to make a baby, but there's not a single man in that room. The onus is all on the woman. Okay? Be it the sex worker, be it the teenage girl, be it me. My ex is a really nice guy, but he couldn't come because, you know, he had a meeting that day. So everybody had their excuses, I think. So we were all waiting there, and I could see the teenage girl's mom is like really upset, you know. First, it's a daughter's life, I get that. And she was like, I sent you to the sex education class, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, the sex education class only teaches you how the baby is being made, right? It's like showing how a BMW I-Series is done without telling the person that the fuel has to be premium. I know. So you need to, like, sex education needs to be like, you need to show a teenage mom their life, their struggles, but you're showing how the baby is made, how the delivery is done. You're showing all the mechanics there, but you're not showing the after effects. How is it going to work? Fine. So initially I had gone through that online course of how the baby is being made. So now I go inside, and it's like everywhere there are posters there that say, you are a woman, you have your choice. Do not feel bad about your choice. I'm like, why are you reminding me everywhere? Like, you know, it's like, you sit, but we are forgiving you. Do not be reminded about that. The posters are all that. I'm thinking like, oh my God, do I need to reevaluate? Okay, I thought I'm all done. Then I go and then there is now a recorded video of the whole darn thing. I'm thinking like, seriously, had I known I should go through this, I would have planned my pregnancy really well, or, you know, not being pregnant at all. So there was a whole thing, there was a whole video about, you know, how the baby is done, blah, 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 so I need to go through that. And then, like, finally, I go to the doctor comes and talks to me. At that point, I was going to dictate to the doctor all the anatomy of how this is going to be done because I was so well versed in that. So the doctor is like, Akila, do you know what we're doing? I'm like, yeah, we're doing a DNC, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, looks like you've gone through your material really well. I'm like, do I get A grade in this now for knowing this? So finally, I did get it done, and then I came out. It was not a very, to be honest, it was not a very happy feeling, and they didn't make it easy for me either. So I've been thinking a lot about abortion, the whole politics behind it and all that. And because I'm not from here, I'm an immigrant from the other side of the wall, I'm thinking practically, and I've come up with two solutions, right? One is, first, all the pregnancies are happening, most of the pregnancies are happening in the nighttime, because sex is happening in the night, proms are happening in the night, okay? The kids' parties are happening in the night. So we need to change the working hours to the daytime, to the nighttime, okay? If a kid is making out in the car, it's like wide open in the sunlight, everybody around. So there is like the point. I don't have a Harvard MBA, but then like practically I think this is going to work out beautifully. The second thing, we really need to make pineapple accessible.